We've come down for a little evening walk. We're in Paguera, and we're going to walk through the village first, have a look to see what it's like. It's an evening walk, so it's coming up to, well, near 10 to 8 in the evening, so it might be getting a bit dark by the time we finish this video. So that the steps there, the path would take us down to the promenade and the beach, but we thought we'd take a more shady walk and just go through the town first of all, and perhaps come back along the beach and just see how we go. Parking was not too much of a problem. We weren't sure where to park. We drove up a side street and there was lots and lots of parking, so it is early evening, so probably that's why. We're entering from the east side. There's little park areas here with benches. And what Anita actually wants to do is have a look in the shops while I wander around chatting away to you. Big thank you to all of those people who've been subscribing to the channel. We had 55 in one day a couple of days ago. Great number of new subscribers, so thank you very much if you did that. It gives us that little bit of encouragement to go out and do another video. That's why I'm out tonight actually. We're just doing another video. Gets us out, we go for a walk. Subscribing doesn't cost anything, it's completely free, but it does give us that encouragement that people are actually watching it, and the fact that you've subscribed would indicate to us that you actually like what we're doing. So thank you very much. You can also hit that thumbs up. That's another way you can say you like what we're doing. And so in July we actually had 700 subscribers, new subscribers. That's fantastic. So I do like the sound of a Harley Davidson motorbike, but they can be very noisy as you're walking along a quiet street, and some people are already settling down in the restaurants to have an early evening supper. I guess people who are staying in hotels, having half board or full board, they will already be back in the hotels for their dinners. We're just coming up to 8 o'clock. You can see the restaurants looking quite busy. We're having some rather crazy weather over the last few days. I'm sure if you've seen anything on the news in Turkey, in Greece, Italy, parts of Africa as well, and even in Spain, we've had these terrible forest fires. We so far have not had many in the way of forest fires. We had some earlier on in the season, but I've not seen any reports of any significant ones here. And it may be luck, it may be good management as well. The authorities here have set up a system where they monitor the forests, so that if anything does start, they can see it very quickly and deal with it. So far we've not really had anything. All the rubbish here is it's intentional. So businesses that received boxes of goods, and they've emptied the boxes and they put them out, and every day, every evening, the rubbish collectors will come and take the rubbish away. Something that's quite astounding when I tell people in England our rubbish is collected every day, and that's 365 days a year. So Christmas morning you open your presents and you have all the wrapping paper and all the other rubbish. You take that down to the rubbish bin and it gets taken away the same day. So rubbish collection is very well done here in Mallorca, or at least in the part of Mallorca that we live. In different areas it's done in different ways. Where my son lives in Mallorca, they've taken away most of the rubbish bins, and you have to go to a recycling centre to get rid of your rubbish. makes it difficult for someone who doesn't have transport or just finds it difficult if you live quite a long way from where it is. Not something that's easily done. But where we are, we live in a town, we live in Genova. We have a bin which is less than 100 meters from our house, and there's a green bin for the general rubbish, yellow for the containers, plastic, cardboard containers, and there's another one for paper and cardboard. And those two are not opened, emptied every day, but the general one is, because people will be putting waste food, and they don't want to attract vermin. Well, it is a warm walk this evening, and Anita hasn't got a parasol because there's no sun. I haven't got my hat on. But yes, you will have seen the forest fires in Turkey. Record temperatures being recorded in Sicily, almost 49 degrees Celsius, and for sure is due to climate change, and is obviously concerning to everybody. But here we're in the middle of a heat wave. The newspaper referred to it as the first heat wave, and I'm not quite sure that that's true, because we definitely had a heat wave earlier on in the season. But I think probably what they mean is when the temperature gets above 36, 37 degrees, and it's already done that here on the island, and it's probably going to get even hotter by Saturday, which is the day we leave. We are heading off back to the UK on Saturday. We were supposed to be going today, and I decided to change our flights because I wasn't comfortable with all the travelling that we were going to have to do in the UK, which is normal when we're there in normal circumstances. We do travel a lot when we're in the UK because our family are spread around. But I didn't really fancy it with the current circumstances, so we just forgot that flight. It was a flight with Ryanair. Didn't cost a lot of money. Only last week I actually booked baggage, and because I decided to not go on it, we've lost all of that because we didn't give them a week's notice to change the flights. But I got a bargain. Instead of flying to Manchester, we're going to fly to Southampton, which is very close to where our eldest daughter lives. And it's a flight with British Airways, so it's a BA flight from Palma directly into Southampton. And when I found this flight, I couldn't really believe what I was seeing. The flight itself was 22 euros. Yeah, that's it, right. 22 euros. And if I included a 23 kilo bag, it was another 10 euros. So I paid 32 euros each. The total was actually 64 euros. It actually wasn't, it was 63 euros something, so they must have rounded some of the figures off. So 63 euros something, and we've got two flights directly into Southampton with British Airways, which includes 23 kilos of baggage, includes a wheelie bag plus a handbag and a meal and drinks on the plane. At least that's how I read it. I'll let you know how it goes on, and if I'm actually right in what I'm assuming. Here's one of these rubbish collectors I've been telling you about. Rubbish collectors. Always going round, always picking up the rubbish. They do a fantastic job. Calvia 2000. Down to the beach there. big boat. There's a bendy bus. So in preparation for our travels on Saturday, I had to go through what every other tourist has to do. Before you go back, there's certain hoops you have to pass through, certain hurdles you have to jump over, and we're gradually doing that. So the first one is to organise a day 2 test. We've both been double vaccinated, so we can get away with a day 2 test. And I think many, if not most, of the British tourists that come here are double vaccinated, and so they have this antigen test, which is what we're going to have. I think if you haven't had the both jabs, or you haven't had them in time, you still have to have the PCR test. There's a big difference in price. So if you have to have the PCR test, it's 75 euros. If you're going to have the antigen test, it's only 30 euros. So we're going to have the antigen test. The plan is to get that done tomorrow morning, and we'll get that out of the way. The day 2 test we've done with Randox. There's lots of different companies we could have done with it, and that's already been sent to our daughters and is waiting for us when we get back. And that gave me a code to put into the passenger locator form. So as of today, this afternoon, I managed to do the passenger locator form. That's all done and printed off, and we have a certificate to say that we've been double jabbed. It's the European certificate for COVID, and it tells whoever wants to know whatever jab we've had. It's an AstraZeneca, and it tells them the dates that we've had it, so that they know that we've had it in the prescribed time. So it is warm. Not too bad. Anita's not quite sure whether it's too bad or not.
It's very warm.
It's very warm. I went for a walk yesterday in Magaluf, and it was a similar sort of temperature. So we're almost set for our trip. Antigen test tomorrow, over the boarding passes, and we've already got the day 2 test done, and we've got our COVID certificates. So the passenger locator form, that's been done as well, yeah. So we're getting there. Nice to see Paguera looking so busy. I guess people are looking for restaurants to go and eat in, or just out for an evening walk like we are.
There's been lots of very good information on how you notice about these tests and getting back.
Yeah, so Calvia Notice Board, which I'll post this video onto Calvia Notice Board. It's one of the greatest sources on the Facebook for up-to-date information on what's going on in and around the Calvia area, which includes places like Promenade, Santa Ponsa, Magaluf and Peguera. This is actually a restaurant we ate at last time we came, and we had a really enjoyable meal. We really enjoyed it. It's called La Pampa. It's a steakhouse, but we had a menu of the day and it was really good. And we were introduced to the chef, and really nice. Well, we've been really lucky on this walk so far. Anita hasn't actually stopped at any shops yet. Maybe that's because she's scared of me running off.
I haven't got my handbag.
And she hasn't got a handbag, so she hasn't got any money anyway. Oh, wonderful. Here's an Indian restaurant we've been told to come to at some point, and we'll have a look at that. And more or less that's it. We're up at the end of Paguera. There's a few more shops up there, some funny tricycle type things which we've seen around. And there's a rather angry looking bull across the road. I think we need to head down to the beach now. Walk past the Indian restaurant again, and I do enjoy an Indian, and I love the aromas, I love the tastes, the spices. Just on the opposite corner is the Neptuno, and many years ago I did some business with them. I did all their cushions, seat cushions, did the embroidery of their logo onto the seat cushions. Down towards the sea now, and we'll have a look. As we were walking along, I could see some really nice boats anchored offshore, so I'm going to have a look to see which ones we can see.
This hotel seems open.
It's the Hotel Gaia. It's open. Boats here. There is a huge turquoisey boat moored out there, and I'm going to get my other camera out and have a closer look. It's quite intriguing. You get lots of celebrities here, film stars and football stars, people with lots of money who hire these boats. Could well be one of them. A few people still in the sea here, and the sea's looking beautiful. I'm just going to get my other camera out and take a closer look at that one in the distance. Just going to resume our walk now, and we're going to return via the promenade. The restaurant just above here was one we came to a few months ago, and we had a menu del dia there, and that was really nice. I quite enjoyed that. Very good staff, and I guess that's what I can smell. You can smell the garlic. Oh yes, plenty of garlic in that. So it is getting late now, so there's not so many people on the beach now. People are cleared off and are towards dinner now. Still one or two people. A few gulls around. Gulls are huge.
Goed vasthouden, Jack.
Als later werd het.
Peguera is a resort that's very much aimed at the German market, but this year they've had to adapt, and yeah, lots of different nationalities. It's still predominantly German though.
We once came here and saw dolphins in the sea, didn't we?
Yeah, we came one New Year's Day, didn't we? And we were watching the dolphins jumping out of the sea. Just in the distance I can see a detectorist, metal detectors. And I was having a little bit of a conversation with one of the viewers on YouTube about metal detecting, something we have done on the island. I bought my son a metal detector years ago, and we used to come to the beach and used to find all manner of things, coins and jewellery and bottle tops. Some people do it quite seriously, and this gentleman over here is doing it quite seriously. He's got his quite a big looking base to his metal detector, and he's got his scoop, which works really well on the sand. You just once you get a signal, you just scoop up the sand goes through, and you have whatever you've discovered. And because it's a beach where people bring money because they have to pay for the beds or pay for drinks and things, and once a coin falls in the sand, it disappears magically into the sand, and the metal detectorist can come along and find it. So we used to have great fun going to beaches at 8 o'clock in the morning and pick up all the coins that people had lost the previous day. But the conversation I was having about metal detecting was a little bit more serious than that, because we were talking about the wonderful history that Mallorca has, and the fact that it's been invaded and ransacked and all sorts of things so many times over the years, and it must therefore be quite rich in spoils that have been left since before the Roman times. Curious. Maybe I should dig out that metal detector and go on a historical search. I don't think I've got time for all of this. We only have about 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's back to school, back to work for me, back to the classroom, and that will certainly slow down the rate at which I'm able to produce videos.
10,000 steps.
Oh, Anita's just passed her 10,000 steps, which probably means I've done about 2,000 or 3,000 steps. Anita does a lot more than I do. She's always pottering around. Catamarans hooked anchor and set off.
See the name of the boat in this.
And we can now see the other side of that boat. Can't see what the name is. We've just come to a very, very quiet part of the promenade. We're the only people. And people will stay on the beach till it goes dark. And then the law says you're supposed to be off by 10 o'clock. Anyway, so between 10 and 6, nobody's supposed to be on the beach. and the police do come round. Certainly in Magaluf. I don't know about here because we never usually here late in the evening. Magaluf and Promenade, they do check, make sure nobody's out on the beach. And people keep asking me about the rules. Have they changed yet? No rule changes, and they're not due to change until next week or so. So bars, restaurants, clubs, anything that can be open has to close at 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's caused a few problems because it means people all get kicked out at the same time. It's like when they had 10:30, 11 o'clock closing times when I used to go down the pub. I used to buy your last orders, and then everybody drank up and was on the street all at the same time. Well, the same thing's been happening here, and it's caused some issues in Magaluf with people jumping on cars and generally causing a nuisance of themselves. So the police have got involved, and it's just going to spoil it for everyone, because a similar sort of thing happened last year. And when things like that happen, the Calvia Council and the police don't hesitate. They just say, close all the bars. And so the Magaluf strip was closed completely at the beginning of the summer last year, and was only told that it could reopen virtually at the end of the season when there were no tourists here anyway. So it was a total disaster for them. Very popular beach volleyball here, and particularly in Promenade, very serious in Promenade. This is a point of the promenade where you think, yes, we'll carry on and we'll walk around the headland. Unfortunately, it doesn't go anywhere. That's the end of the promenade, so you can see the boats a little bit closer, but you can't actually go around. You have to go this way, and it's up a rather steep hill. So at this point, I'll turn the camera off while Anita takes a photograph. Made our way to the second beach, middle beach of Peguera. There is one further round. I don't think we'll make it to that one this evening. We'll just walk along this middle beach. Not so many boats out here. But just up there I can actually see. So I'm going to have a walk along here just to the end, just to see this other boat from the other side. A few people out fishing at the end here. It's always a popular hobby. Somebody out with the water skis. The light is beginning to fade a little bit now. The sun's not set, but it's going behind the clouds that we've had. We've had a lot of dust in the air, Sahara dust, it's red mud. So my car looks a bit more like a sandcastle than a car. There was a recommendation in the newspaper that the weather being as it is, you should wear a mask when you go outside. Nothing to do with COVID, but to do with the dust that was in the air, to protect you from that dust. I wonder if the anti-mask brigade would protest against that. I don't know. There's that boat, we can see it now from the other side. And again, I'm going to get my longer lens out and see what we can find out about that boat. It certainly is an impressive yacht. I can't make out a name, so I'm not going to be able to tell you who owns it. Maybe somebody who watches the video might recognise it. And you look in the local press here, they sometimes do tell you who the owners are. Some of them are not really known who the owners are, they're owned by companies. Quite often they're owned by people like owners of, directors of Microsoft and Google and places like that. Then they're not necessarily the people who are on board, because they then lease them out for hundreds of thousands of dollars a day to people like Ronaldo and other football, Messi. He's all tied up in Paris. He won't be sailing on a boat for a while. But in Palma, where the big boats usually go to, Puerto Portales, Port Adriano, Palma, the biggest ones are usually in Palma, in the Club de Mar. And I have read this week there's some like 100-meter boats there. These are really big ones, owned by incredibly wealthy people. And some of these are Arab princes. So someone remarked that the promenade in Paguera is a little bit more difficult than the promenade in Palma Nova, and I can see your point. There's a lot more ups and downs and steps. I hadn't really thought about it before, but you're exactly right. There are more ups and downs, so it's not as user friendly for people like me. What could be nicer though than having a dinner, overlooking the beach, watching the boats go by. Cuba Libre, Bacardi and Coke, €7. I must admit I've been enjoying a Cuba Libre myself this week. Cuba Libre is what the Spanish refer to as Bacardi and Coke. It's a very refreshing alcoholic drink. Bungee jumping, trampoline with a bungee. A few more steps. Yeah, definitely not user friendly for people like me with funny knees. We've been walking now for 3/4 of an hour. It's obviously getting to that time when we have to stop. Have a drink, a nice cold drink. I think it's time to look out for a bar somewhere. More steps. Nice to see how busy these places are. When we came here in the winter, this is the one place we did actually stop for a drink, and we were the only people sitting in the bar. They're very busy tonight. big hotel in front. It's closed for weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months and months. Now looks as though it's fully open. There's almost a towel on every balcony. Very busy here. We might have to head off somewhere else to find a place for a drink. So if you do come to Peguera, there is another beach. If you follow this promenade round, there's another sandy beach with some more bars and restaurants. It is a really nice resort, and the one we like going back to, so that we can have a walk along the promenade. Anita likes the shops.
Been very good tonight.
Been very good tonight, really impressed, well done. We do need to go and find somewhere for a little drink. We had a really nice walk on a very warm and sticky evening in Paguera, and I think we deserve a nice cold drink. So
We do.
Anita's got her rosado and I have my shandy. Cheers everyone.
It's a nice colour.
Oh, thanks for watching.
Cheers.
And if you haven't already subscribed, now's a good time to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video, which may be from the UK, we'll see. Bye for now.
Bye.